let's see if I can get this right this morning. Unlike yesterday where I had the music so loud and nobody could hear me. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another day, another live stream, another show. Player Prop Talk here on the channel. It is me, Chavez, and I am back. You are back. Together we are back. Let's run it back on Taco Tuesday. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope this stream finds you all in good spirits. We got new plays to talk about. We got new turds to talk about. And we got your Q&A as well. Plays of the day, all the good things, injury news, pretty packed show. So hope everybody's doing well. Appreciate you taking time out of your day to chill out with me, even if it's just for a few minutes, even if you're at work and you got to go to the bathroom for a few minutes and check out the stream. I appreciate you. Hit that like button on your way in, as it does help the channel get bigger every single day. What is going on, Knuckles? What is going on, Carrie? Good morning, fam man. Good morning to everybody. 6 viewers on the stream. Let's get 6 likes. Let's kick this thing off, everybody. Oh, man. I just kind of want to get into the turds, to be honest with you, because what happened yesterday? Before we get into our turds, we are blessed. Over 10% of the U.S. population does not wake up. So consider yourself lucky, blessed, whatever you want to say. You are on the other side of that statistic. So 90% of us do wake up. Congratulations, you're one of them. Appreciate y'all being here, spending your morning with me. All right, how appropriate. The new image for our turds of the day. How appropriate here. John Witherspoon. We need a can of aerosol, no doubt. Turds of the day. I would say the biggest turd for me of the day was Alex Caruso. Did not go over points. Did not go over points and assists. Did not go over PRA. I think about the only thing he went over was missed field goals and steals and blocks. That is about it. Man, that was very disappointing to watch that unfold that way. So turd of the day, my turd of the day goes to Alex Caruso. And it was like double bad because I wrote him up in one of my videos. So yesterday's YouTube shorts, I produced 2 shorts, one for Underdog, one for PrizePicks. My 2 PrizePicks plays were Alex Caruso over 10.5 or 11 PA, and Colin Sexton under points. Now, Colin Sexton under points maybe was a reach. Maybe some people think that, but all the numbers lined up, the data looked good, so I rolled with it. But the Alex Caruso one was really disappointing. So have you checked out this morning's YouTube short? I have a YouTube short out there, 2 plays for PrizePicks. Check that out if you haven't done so already. But Anthony Davis, man, what happened? He was looking so good. At the half, he had 9 points. I said, you know what? Anthony Davis likes to sleepwalk. He likes to Frankenstein his ass through the first half sometimes. Second half, he comes out like a man on a mission. And that's what it looked like he was going to do. In second half, he came out and started just dominating in the paint like I knew he could. I go to sleep feeling pretty good because he was at 24 points going into the fourth quarter, I think. And then I wake up and he's still at 24 points. So did not go over his PRA. He did not go over his points. So yeah, big turd, no doubt. I agree with that one. What's going on, JR? Good morning to you. Big Icy, what is going on? You took the under PRA? Yeah, under PRA for sure. Would have been a nice way to go. Shay's points, DF the God, what is going on? What is going on? D'Angelo Russell did go off. Yeah. 26 points for D'Angelo Russell. Cheat sheets did okay. If you're in the Discord, you saw my cheat sheet yesterday. Did okay. 6 and 4 on my cheat sheet. Man, like I mentioned, going to sleep, I had Anthony Davis left on that cheat sheet. Had he knocked down his points, I played that on Underdog and PrizePicks. That would have got us to 8 and 2 for the day, which is a pretty strong hit rate. But instead, we finished 6 and 4. So it'd be like that sometimes. But we move on to a new day. with new plays to talk about here. Let's get this going, everybody. Hit that like button on your way in. If you're just checking out the stream, we just finished talking about our turds of the day. If you've never been on the stream before, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Stick around for a little bit. Let's get into some injury news and let's just make sure we are up to speed on all that's going on in the NBA. We know that Book is out, Mitchell's out, Barnes is out, Strus, Love, Brown, Podol, Melton, and Okogie. Got 3 Raptors out tonight. Does that mean increased usage for guys like Barrett and Quickly and Kelly Olynyk? We'll find out. Doubtful Quentin Grimes, who no longer plays for the New York Knicks. I found this out over the weekend when I was looking at scores and stats. I don't know who. I think does he play for Memphis now? Is it Toronto? I don't know. I know he doesn't play for the Knicks anymore. It's Toronto, isn't it? Questionable. Big names on the Q tag list here. Luka, Wemby, Brunson, Brown, Porzingis, Nurk, LeVert, Fultz, Richards, Kobe, Buffkin, Okoro, Payne, Champagne, Neesmith, Ben Shepherd, Pye, Derek Jones Jr., and Maxi Kleber. So let's see. You got 3 Mavericks on this Q tag list. Couple of Celtics. My man Alien wrote up Jaylen Brown in the Discord this morning. Really good write-up on the over 21.5 points. It has been bumped up to 22. In the event that Porzingis does not play this game, that's a low line for Brown, even at 22. So there's your Q tag. There's your doubtful. There's your out for Tuesday, March 5th. And we move on. What are we moving on to? Are we just jumping into our plays already? Are we just jumping into our QRA? Am I missing a slide here? My assistant is going to get fired. I don't have an assistant. I am the assistant. My doo-doo is Jay. Kuzma did hit, Knuckles. Kuzma hit and he hit and he hit. That was a really fun game to watch. I don't know what's gotten into the Washington Wizards. Maybe it's the benching of Jordan Poole, and he looks great coming off the bench. First half wagon, Jordan Poole points, Jordan Poole PRA. Take a look at those game logs. First half wagon. He's the new Sexton. He is performing really well off the bench. I think he finished the game as the high scorer for the Wiz. But that was a fun game. That was a fun back and forth game between those two teams. What's good, Eddie? What is going on, sir? Let's go. Alex Caruso let you down 6-0. Yep. Me too. Damien, that's funny. Your doo-doo is Jay Will. All right. There's a lot of doo-doo yesterday to talk about. All right. Enough doo-doo talk. Let's move on. Let's move on to our plays. So we're going to go over a few plays. I have a few plays pulled up on the PrizePicks board. I want to share those with you. A few of those I pulled off my cheat sheet this morning. I already got those plays in the Discord. So try to get those out really early in the morning, if not the night before. So if you're in the Discord, pay attention to them. They do get bumped up very, very fast. So I am not responsible for the line movement. I'm only responsible for the research. So we'll talk about a few plays. We'll see what they look like on the PrizePicks board. If you are not new to the stream, then you already know that every single player prop is researched over on props.cash. So if you have any interest in using this for your own researching purposes, do so. Use my promo code, knock off 25% off your first month. If you've never seen props.cash used, you're in luck, because we're about to use it in real time on the stream. You get to see it live in action. If you like the way it looks, if you like the breakdowns, if you like all the information that's over on props.cash, and even more incentive for you to sign up using that promo code, take it out for a test drive at a discount. So let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. We're headed over to the PrizePicks dashboard where I have a few plays pulled up. And wouldn't you know, we already got some bumps. On the board. So let's see who bumped. Zion has bumped up from 10.5 to 11. So let me go ahead and clear this out. Let me just show you the 6 plays that I like over on PrizePicks. I made sure to get the underdog YouTube short out first. I know a few of you have asked me about underdog plays in the Discord and on the chat. Underdog does release their lines, a lot of their lines, a lot sooner than PrizePicks. So the research for underdog is a little easier. So much easier for me to get that video out first, get that YouTube short out first, where I talk about a few plays. Also on my cheat sheet, I have, I think, 5 underdog plays. So check those out if you're playing on underdog. Brock Boser under 2.5 shots on goal. Paolo Banchero over 34 PRA. I like this at 33. He was one of my first plays that I put on my cheat sheet yesterday, and that's been bumped up to 34. We'll take a look at it anyway. Paolo Banchero's points were at 20.5 on PrizePicks last night. If you saw that, you liked it, you should have played it. On JOCKMKT, it was also at 21. Now this has been bumped up to 21.5. Kelly O's rebounds, I liked it at 8.5. It's been bumped down to 8. So you see what I'm saying? All the bumps happen. So you got to be quick on some of these plays. Brandon Ingram over 5.5 assists. There was another bump right there. And then you just saw the bump on Zion. So some days it pays to get a head start on the research. Some days it really doesn't matter because a lot of these pick'em sites don't release them in time. So you staying up super late, trying to get trying to get a head start on shit doesn't really matter because the boards are dry as hell. So these are the 6 plays that I liked. We'll talk about a few of them over on props.cash, but we've reached a portion of the stream where we start taking your Q&A. So if you're new to the stream, hit that like on your way in, but also go ahead and throw in the chat a player prop that you want me to take a look at. We'll dig into it over on props.cash. If you have more than one player prop, I'm going to take the first one off that list, and then we'll circle back and grab the other ones if we have enough time. Just so we're being fair to everybody, just so everybody has a chance to engage in the chats. Kerry said I took Zion over his turnovers. All right. Let me scroll all the way back up. Let me make sure I don't miss any of these plays. We're going to get this going. All right. I know where I'm going to start. Let's pull up props.cash. And let's kick this off. I want to take a look at this Brock Boser shots on goal play over on PrizePicks. It is sitting at 2.5. There you go. All right, so here's what I liked about this play. So you're getting favorable odds to the under on this one, minus 128. 40% hit rate in his last 10, 60 in his last 5. Head-to-head, now the numbers look really good here against the LA Kings. One of those games was this season. Taking a look at his projection today, 2.67. So you have this situation where you have the under favored on the odds, but then you're seeing discrepancies with the projections and the game logs look really good. So as I always say, if there's ever a situation where you feel there's some conflicting information, I think the odds are your way to side with because that's industry wide. We could take a look at some of the other books and where they have this sitting at minus 135 on BetMGM, minus 130 on DraftKings, and then you saw the minus 128 on FanDuel. So listen, we've played plays with the exact opposite. Game logs look terrible. Projections look terrible. The odds look good. You go with the odds. We played it that way too. So keep it consistent. I like the under on Brock Boser. I got him up there as one of my plays. I got him in my cheat sheet as well. It's the only hockey play that I have up on the board. The other play that I had that did get removed from PrizePicks, unfortunately, it was not an assist play. It was not an assist play, but it was the Matt Duchene over 0.5 points. and I like that one as well. And that one got removed from PrizePicks. The last time I saw it, it was on underdog over 0.5 points. So that's another one you can look at. I believe he plays for the Dallas Stars. And you're going to look at his points real quick. Minus 135 on the over. Head-to-head, he's averaging 1.1 versus the San Jose Sharks. Last 10. Doesn't look all that good. I understand that. On the season, you can take a look at these averaging 0.9. His averages are over 0.5. So keep that in mind. Though the game logs don't look all that impressive, the averages are over the line for today. He's projected 4.94 points, which is roughly 1. And then when you take a look at the odds, pretty unanimous here. All three of these books do like the over on this one. So I took it. 0.5 on underdog for Matt Duquesne's points. All right. For now, that'll wrap up our NHL portion of the stream. I'm sure we'll come across a couple of NHL props down the line in this stream, but let's move into our NBA plays. And I want to talk about this Paolo Banchero play very quickly because it's moving in the wrong direction. It's moving up. We want it to stay the same or maybe move down so we can take the over on it. But 21.5 points is where you currently see it on PrizePicks. He has even odds both sides, minus 113. Averaging 22 points in his last 10 games, averaging 24 points in his last 5 games, averaging 24.3 points versus the Charlotte Hornets. That includes one game this season where he did go for 23. Looking at his projections, he is projected for 25 points today. And then when you take a look at the odds here, you're not going to get tremendous juice to either side. Well, you're not going to get tremendous juice to the over in a lot of these books, I should say. But that's why I liked it at 20.5. You saw it at 20.5. Makes a huge difference. 21.5, you're seeing the odds kind of shift in favor of the under here. So if you want to still play it at 21.5, you can. You have a lot of supporting information, and the matchup is ideal versus the Charlotte Hornets. Take a look at his PRA because his PRA was in play, and so they got bumped up. Very good game logs against the Charlotte Hornets. 38 last time they met. 35 over his last 10. 36 over his last 5. And when you take a look at his projection, he is projected for roughly 37 points, rebounds, and assists. Odds here look a little better, not too much. But remember, this is at 34.5. You're still playing it at 34 on PrizePicks, which is the lowest line. If you got it at 33.5 earlier this morning, that's the best line you'll find all day. So I did like Paolo Banchero. I'm sure someone's going to ask about his assist. So let me go ahead and knock those out real quick. 4 or 5 games, over his last 5 games, he's gone over this just one time. Over his last 10 games, we're kind of seeing the decline, the fall off from this massive streak he was on where he was just averaging 7-8 assists per game. That has come to an end. He might be getting ready to start a new one. We don't know. I think 6 assists is definitely in his range here. Last 4 games against the Hornets, 2 for 4. The last one, he got 8 assists. He is only projected for 5.16 assists today, but when you take a look at the odds, you may like those over the projections. Minus 145, minus 130, minus 131, minus 140, and minus 125 are the odds on his assists. So his assists look good. His points look great. His PR look real good. So they got bumped up. All right. I think, you know what? I think that'll be enough for those plays that we just looked for, the plays that I put up on the board. I don't want to take up a ton of time talking about my plays. Like I said, they're over in the Discord, but I did want to just go over a few of the ones that were standing out to me earlier today. All right. What's up? What do we got? What do y'all have for me? Player prop Q&A. Let's move into this. ATM, did I say good morning to you? Good morning. Let's win. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so I see my first. I think this is the first one. I think this is the first one from Divine. He wants to take a look at KD and Kyrie's points, or are you talking about? You want to take a look at KD's points and Kyrie's points, both at 27.5. Bet y'all ain't see Alex Caruso post. He's like, Alex Caruso is man, he had 1 for 9, 0 for 6 from 3. Probably one of the worst shooting performances you'll see all year from anybody. 6-0, I knew it. I knew someone was going to ask about Banchero's assist. Just covered it. Awesome. All right, cool. JR wants to take a look at Cade's points at 20.5. Zion liking the over on his turnovers from Carey. We'll take a look at Zion. So Zion's going to be a popular play today, I believe. The Toronto Raptors are super depleted right now. I pray that this game stays close enough to where everybody hits their value. I can't stand a blowout. RJ Barrett over PRA, and that's from Knuckles. So let's take a look at RJ today. That rhymed. Let's see. Damian wants to take a look at Quickly's rebounds. Sitting at what, 3.5? Well, 3.5. Who am I thinking about? Is that his Goblin? This is Goblin. All right, cool. All right, I wasn't too far off. All right. That's 6 on the board. Where we will leave off, I got it marked on the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially starting our first round of player props, your first round of player props. Let's head back over to props.cash. Let's adjust the filters and let's kick things off in the, what's the first game? Let's start in this Toronto-New Orleans game, as we do have 3 players in this game. Let's start things off with Quickly's rebounds sitting at 5 over on PrizePicks. I bet you this one has been bumped up from 4.5 exactly. I can tell you already when that shit's been bumped up. Over his last 10 games, he's gone over this line in 7 out of the last 10. 100% perfect hit rate over his last 5, giving you exactly 6 boards in that time frame, which is what he needs now to get over his line. Projected for exactly 6. You're going to round that 5.96 up to 6. There's your total for the projection. Take a look at his odds. You're getting massive odds on BetMGM. Excuse me, I saw that incorrectly. You're getting minus 160 to both sides. So that's kind of meh. You're getting heavy juice to the under on points bet. You're getting heavier juice to the over on FanDuel at the 4.5. So listen, if you don't want to play the bump at 5, find this on FanDuel, find this on DraftKings, find this at Caesars at 4.5 and play the over on that one. If you don't have an account with them and you have access to these books, sign up using one of my links, my promo codes that I talk about so much. Sign up, get those bonus bets, play it on those sites at the lower line. But if you absolutely must play it at 5, then you're still getting a pretty good line, as it's coming in lower than what these other books have it at. So Quickly's rebounds look pretty strong to me. Let's talk about RJ Barrett and want to take a look at his points, not PRA, from Knuckles. So let's talk about RJ Barrett. Points. So over his last 5 games, he has an 80% hit rate. He's averaging 22 in those last 5 games, and that does include a pretty dud game against the Brooklyn Nets. Now, over his last 10, he's gone over this in 60%, averaging 20. Head-to-head games with the Pelicans. All these games were as a New York Knick, so you want to say they're irrelevant. They don't really count. He's on a new team, but you do see what he's capable of versus this team. Looking at his projection today at 23.51, so that's up a couple of points from his line. And then when you take a look at his line, or excuse me, when you take a look at additional lines, across the industry. So FanDuel, BetMGM offering you the low lines. PointsBet, Caesars, DraftKings already have this at 22.5. I had RJ Barrett PRA pulled up, so I didn't even see what his points were. They're at 22.5. So they've already been bumped up on PrizePicks. So again, if you want to take a look at his points, take a look at them on FanDuel and BetMGM. Those are going to be your best two lines. If you absolutely want to play the line bump at 22.5, the odds are not going to be as good. Projections do have them still going over. Play it on a sports book or find it on a different pick'em site. $34.5 PRA for RJ Barrett. This one's been bumped up. He is projected for 35, so he's still projected for the over on this one. But again, similar situation with his points. If you can find this on a book, 33.5 is where you're going to want to play this. The other 3 books do have this at 34.5. Not terrible odds, but definitely not as good as the 33.5. Over his last 10, he has a 40% hit rate. Over his last 5, he has a 40% hit rate. So it looks like his points might be the best way to go in terms of that hit rate. We saw his points pop a little bit more over the last 5 games. So if you're choosing out of those two, I sided with his points even at the bump. Play it on a sportsbook. If you don't have access to a sportsbook, consider playing it on a pick'em site. Search for the lowest line. If PrizePicks is your only place to play, I think you still have enough information here to feel good about the over. Let's talk about Emmanuel quickly. Zion's turnovers sitting at 2.5. Now over his last 5 games, 80% hit rate. 6 turnovers. That's James Harden shit. That's James Harden Houston Rockets turnover right there. Playoff James Harden. Over his last 10 games, he's averaging 3, and over his last 5 games, he's averaging 4. So he's prone to a turnover here and there. Now it's 2 games against Toronto, 1 game this season where he only turned it over 1 time. We don't want that. We want this. We want 4 turnovers today if you're looking at the over on this one. Turnover, he's projected for 3 of them today. So you like that. You also like the odds. You don't love the odds. You may like them at -119, 115 on Caesars, -120, 110 on BetMGM, and -120, 110 on PointsBet. Anybody out for the New Orleans Pelicans that's of relevance? Nope. So there's Zion's turnovers, -120 again. Not the worst odds, but what you're really, really liking is his last 10 and last 5 games where he's turning the ball over a ton. All right, New Orleans and Toronto out of the way. Who's next? Phoenix. Let's take a look at Kevin Durant's points, and then we'll take a look at Kyrie Irving's points. Durant's points sitting at 27.5 over on PrizePicks, but at 28.5 is where FanDuel has it. Let's pull up DraftKings. DraftKings, BetMGM, and PointsBet all have this line the same, whereas Caesars is giving you a little bit more juice in favor of the over here. So in his last 10 games, he's only gone over this 4 times. In his last 5 games, he's gone over this 2 times. 40% hit rate, either way you look at it. Head-to-head games against Denver look pretty damn good. Now, a lot of these games are from last season, but 1 game this year, back on December 1st, Kevin Durant went for 30. You know, Bradley Beal being back in the rotation just mucks it up, honestly. I don't like Brad. I wish he would just fucking retire or just move on, because he's not really helping out with the overs on these props. He's kind of just screwing everything up. So that's my only reservation on this one, is just Bradley Beal just kind of being that guy. I know Book's out for a few games, or is it a couple of weeks? So we can take a look at what Kevin Durant has done without Devin Booker this year. 60% hit rate and 50% hit rate, averaging roughly 30 points in both. So scoring goes up, percentage hit rate goes up as well. Without Book and with Beal in the lineup, looks like that. So last 7 games. Now, these 2 games don't count. These 2 games don't count. That's last season. These games are this year. So 3 out of those 5 games, Durant has gone over this point line. Projected for just 24 points. And at 27.5, you're not getting really any juice to either side. So pretty even. Minus 115 to over and under on DraftKings, BetMGM, and PointsBet for Kevin Durant. Take a look at Kyrie Irving's points. At 27.5, so same exact line as we're seeing for Kevin Durant. FanDuel has this bumped up to 28. DraftKings has it at minus 120, 110 with BetMGM. And it's even odds for PointsBet and Caesars. Let's take a look at it on DraftKings and PointsBet or BetMGM. 60% hit rate, 80% hit rate over his last 5. He's averaging 27 points in both of these windows here. His projection is only for 25 points. Pretty decent matchup, pace-up game for the Indiana Pacers today. And then we already looked at his odds. I like it. Rebounds for Kyrie Irving, if they're at 4.5, if you can find these at 4.5, I like this as well. I think this is a strong play for the over on this one. 80% hit rate in his last 10 and 60% hit rate in his last 5. Projected for 5 rebounds. Again, if you can find it at 4.5, play it at 4.5. If it's at 5, I don't see why you would play it at 5. There's so many plays out there you can take advantage of. Don't force it. Just move on. This one's probably been bumped up on most books. Look at these odds. Crazy good odds. All right. RJ Barrett just got bumped down to 33.5. We just talked a little shit about him, and maybe that helped the line get bumped down. So if you want to take the over on this 33.5 now, that looks a lot better than 34.5. That makes a lot of sense to me. So back to the original line. Too many people taking the under on it at 34.5 is what happened. All right, let's take a look at Cade Cunningham. Last play of this round of player props. We're going to take a look at his 20.5 points today as the Detroit Pistons travel down to Miami. 9 points against Orlando. They shut his ass down. Prior to that, he had 5 straight games of 21 or more. And then prior to that, he had two games over, 2 games under. So what that adds up to is a 70% hit rate in his last 10 and an 80% hit rate in his last 5. 21 points for Cade Cunningham is his projection. That gets him over the line. No book really likes this play. To be honest with you, you're getting some even odds or slight juice to the under on PointsBet, on BetMGM and DraftKings. Caesars also has this favorite to the under. Matchup doesn't get much easier. I mean, shit, he goes from playing Orlando to Miami. Actually, they're not flying anywhere. I wonder if they just stayed in Florida since, well, yeah, you do got to fly down from Orlando. Orlando's top of the key. Miami's a little down there. So yeah, they might have to take a flight. But anyway, they're still in Florida, soaking up that sun. It doesn't get much easier. Head-to-head games against Miami. One game at the beginning of the season, he went for 30. So factor all that in. If you want to take the over on his points, probably the lowest we'll see it for a while, because during this massive streak of overs, we're seeing his points get bumped up a lot. So pretty low line for Cade. This is now the time to take the over on it, or just stay away from it. All right. 6 up, 6 down. We like the over on Durant without Book, with Beal. We like those game logs. We like the over on Kyrie. We like the over on Cade. However, This is a tough matchup. The plus side to that is that we're getting this at a pretty low line. I kind of mucked up those screenshots. Hold on. Let me do another one. Zion over turnovers, quickly over rebounds, and Barrett back down to 33.5 PRA. So now that one looks a lot better for RJ Barrett. Clear this out, and let's move into a second round of player props. What's going on, Vegan? Shay, what's up? Curtis Johnson, what is going on? Good morning to you all. All right. We'll take a look at Wemby's blocks. Round 2 of player props coming at you. I did it again. So Wemby does not have a block shot prop outside his demon prop. If you want to take a look at that, we can. Take a look at Brandon Miller's points. He's kind of come down from that cloud 9 he was on. Shay says, what about Zion rebounds and assists? On PrizePicks, it's no longer 10.5. So that got bumped up just as soon as we started the stream, unless it's been moved back down. Yeah, so it's at 11 right now. I like it at 10.5. It was one of my plays on my cheat sheet, but we should have just looked at that when we were looking up all of his stats before. Curtis says, what about Kevin Durant under 14 first half points? Oh, what about Kobe White's first half PRA yesterday? Anybody have that as a turd? Because that dude went off and had himself a hell of a first half. He damn near hit full game PRA in that first half. That one I did not see coming. We'll take a look at Miller's rebounds when we take a look at his points. Brown over RA. I'm assuming that is Jalen, as he's the only Brown on the board. Bruce Brown is out today, so yeah, it has to be Jalen. You want to take a look at his rebounds and assists. What are they, 10.5? 8.5. Okay. Carrie wants to look at Jonas under blocks and steals. Under. That is 6 right there. All right. All right, let's move in. Props.cash, second round of player props. Let me see, who can we group here? Jonas and Zion. Jonas and Zion. That's it. Those are only 2 plays from the same game. So we'll start with Jonas and Zion, and then we'll just work our way around to the other games. So Zion's RA was on the board really late last night, probably around 11 at 10.5. The first place I saw that was underdog, and then I believe it was on PrizePicks. But you at the beginning of this stream, literally at the beginning of the stream, it bumped up to 11. So within the last hour, it moved. -132 was the original odds on this one. You can see what the other books had this at, -132. Well, that's the only one still showing 10.5. Now, every other book has bumped this up to 11. So 11.5, excuse me. So at 11, you're still getting it at a small discount. How many times has he gotten you 11 RA in his last 10 games? He has gotten you 60% hit rate there. 11 rebounds and assists. Now, keep in mind, he needs 12 or more to go over. Head-to-head against the Raptors, 1 game. So the bump does not hurt really anything against the Raptors, as this is well under and this is way over. So it doesn't really make a difference there. His projection today is 11.71. So if you want to round that up to 12, that gives you the over easily. And we just took a look at his odds. So totally up to you. If you want to play this at 11, you can. If you want to look for it elsewhere on Underdog, Jock Market, Hot Streak, if you can find it at 10.5, then that's the best line for Zion. We'll take a look at Jonas's blocks and steals. What's going on, Mel? Good morning to you. Turd of the day, Alex Caruso. Golly, yeah, I had his points before the bump. He went 5 and 6. He was the only loss on your slip. That stings. The hell is that guy's problem? Going 0 for 6 from 3. Shit, knock one of them down. He's at 11. He's at 11 points and assists. If you got his points and assists at 10.5, he gets the over with just 1 fucking 3. This guy. All right, let's take a look at the under on Jonas's blocks and steals. Minus 129 to the under, 106 to the over. You can see that he has failed to go over this in 80% of those games over his last 10. And then over his last 5, he's only gone over this 1 time. So again, pretty poor hit rates over his last 5 and 10 games. Now, his projection does currently sit at 1.03 blocks and steals. So this is projected to go well under that line of 1.5. And then when you take a look at the odds, you got 2 books that like the under. BetMGM and Caesars both basically have this separated by 1.130 to the under, 129 to the under. So you're getting some pretty good information there in support of that under for Jonas. That one looks pretty good. All right, let's take a look at Brandon Miller's points, and then we'll take a look at Brandon Miller's rebounds. We'll knock those out together. Brandon Miller's points currently sitting at 18.5 on PrizePicks. That's what we're getting it on FanDuel. Yep. DraftKings also has this, but has the juice slightly to the under, as does BetMGM, as does Caesars. So PointsBet and FanDuel are the only 2 that have this kind of like right in the middle. 2 out of his last 5 games, he's gotten the over. But we have seen his scoring kind of fall off a little bit. 3 out of his last 10 games, he's gone over this line. Against the Orlando Magic, he does have 1 game this season played against them at the beginning of the year where he did get you 20. So a repeat performance would definitely get you over on that line today. When we take a look at his projections today, he is projected for 22 points. You can round that up to 22, and that one is going to get you the over. So you got a little bit of conflicting information here. You got odds that are kind of not in support of that over, but you got favorable projections. And you have that 1 game against the Orlando Magic early this year where you got 20. If you want to take a look at his rebounds, I don't even know what his rebounds are at, but let's say they're at 4.5. I don't believe these are going to get bumped up because there's so much juice coming into the under. Actually, yeah, this one would get bumped down. It would get bumped down to 4, and it would force you to take the over or stay away. So at 4.5, this one is looking pretty good, where all 5 books are in favor of the under with absolutely very little juice. I was going to say 0 juice, but Caesars does have a smidge of juice, a drop of juice in favor of the over at minus 106. But even that, you're still seeing heavy favorites to the under. Last 2 games, he's gotten you 7 and 10. 4 games before that, he failed to get you 5. In his matchup against Orlando, he also went for 5 rebounds. So 20 points and 5 boards for Brandon Miller in his 1 game against the Magic this season. His projection today is 5.87 rebounds. These are really, really favorable projections for Brandon Miller today, which kind of conflict the odds that we're seeing. So you have a decision to make. If you want to side with the odds, they're all in favor of the under on all 5 books. If you want to side with the game logs and the projections, then you have positive information to support that as well. But I hate these because it just, you're not really getting anything concrete. But there's Brandon Miller's rebounds, and there are Brandon Miller's points. Let's talk about Jaylen Brown's rebounds and assists. This one's sitting at 8.5 over on PrizePicks. We're getting it at 8.5 across the books. Minus 115 on PointsBet, minus 120 on BetMGM and DraftKings. Caesars has it at minus 123. FanDuel is the only one that is giving you odds in favor of the over, while the rest of the books are either right in the middle or slightly favoring the under. What would really help Jaylen Brown out, I think, is if Porzingis sat today or not. So if Porzingis sits, we're going to see Jaylen Brown's averages increase here. So over his last 10, he's averaging 11. Rebounds and assists over his last 5, he's averaging 9. Both get you the over. Against Cleveland without Porzingis, these are all games from last season. They don't really help us. Well, they might help us because last season Porzingis wasn't on the Celtics. So this gives you an idea of what could happen. Although we don't know what was going on in these games, if somebody else sat out, if people were out for Cleveland, we don't know. If we put Porzingis back in the mix, 2 games this season with Porzingis in the lineup, Jaylen Brown is averaging 8 rebounds and assists. Over his last 10, he's averaging 10. And then over his last 5, he's averaging 9. So honestly, it looks like if Porzingis is in, it kind of doesn't matter. Jaylen Brown is going to produce. So probably not putting too much into Porzingis being out in terms of Brown's rebounds and assists. And then also his projection is 9.51. So this one does look good. Now, if you're playing Jaylen Brown's points, last 4 games, he's gone for basically 30, almost 30 in every single game. If you want to take out Porzingis and check out Jaylen Brown's points, maybe we see a difference there. No, not really. So again, it looks like Porzingis in the lineup. It's not hurting Jaylen Brown at all. He's averaging 25 over his last 10 without Porzingis. Okay, so there's the difference right there. All right, so there's the difference right there. Last 10 games without Porzingis looks a hell of a lot better. So now we're starting to see the differences in his points. Rebounds and assists, we didn't really see a whole lot of difference with and without Porzingis. So points, keep your eyes out for Celtic news. If Porzingis sits, makes Brown's points even more playable. If he's in, then I don't know. I don't know. It's just the normal good ass team with everybody healthy. All right, let's take a look at Kevin Durant's first half points, and then we'll talk about Wemby's block. So I wish I would have saw that Kevin Durant earlier. We could have looked at his first half points when we were looking at his full game points, but we're going to take a look at the under on his first half points at 14. So not 14 and a half. This has been bumped down, but Kevin Durant has gone under this in almost every single game over his last 10, yielding a 20% hit rate in the last 10. On this season, Kevin Durant's only averaging 13 first half points. So a bit of a slow starter. He does have those games where he does hit ceiling in the first half. But for the most part, he's not. Over his last 5 games, even worse. He's 0 for 5, averaging roughly 9 in the first half. No projections for this one, but if you want to take a look at his total game points, he's projected for 23. So 14 is way over the halfway point of 23. So that you can go by that and say, yeah, the under makes sense there. You can take a look at his game logs as well. And the matchup against Denver, not ideal. Let's take a look at his game logs versus Denver. Now, this is inclusive of what looks to be some playoff games. So one game this season, he did score 22 points against Denver back on the 1st of December. So if you think he repeats that performance and you like the over on this one, if you want to follow trends over his last 10 and 5 games, then you want to take the under on this one for Kevin Durant. All right, Wembanyama, 23.5 points, but we're going to take a look at his blocks today at an extremely inflated line of 4.5 blocks. That is his demon block. PrizePicks is wise. They are not going to give you the original line anymore, which is 3.5. Find this somewhere else. Find it on Underdog. Find it on Jock Market. Find it on Hot Streak. Find it on Chalkboard, wherever. And play the lower line because this is what's going to happen from now on. PrizePicks no longer give you his line at the OG mark. 3.5 blocks over on underdog, but they are giving you a reduced payout. So he needs 5 blocks today. He needs 5 blocks today. He's gone over this in 60% of his last 10, 80% of his last 5, missing just one time against Minnesota. He's on he's projected for 5 blocks and steals, but he's projected for just 4 blocks. So again, if you want to ladder this and take the over on his demon blocks and then take the over on his blocks and steals, and hopefully that he goes over both with just blocks alone, something like that, you can try that out. At 3.5, you're getting really good odds, the over on this one. So BetMGM, Caesars, FanDuel all have this over 3.5. There are no odds for 4.5 right now. So again, take that risk, throw it in a flex, and leverage that payout boost, and maybe even ladder it. Because if he goes over, he goes over. And if he goes over his blocks, then if Wemby goes over his blocks, his blocks and steals are at 5.5. So now they're smart. PrizePicks is not giving you the lower line on blocks and steals either. So yeah, he would need to get you 6 blocks to go over both of those in blocks alone. So yeah, doesn't really give you that ladder opportunity like it had been giving you in the past, but it's super risky. All these demons are risky. No matter how good it looks on paper, it's always risky. That's why they're demons. Against the Rockets this season, he does have 2 games played. He did get you 5 blocks back in December, and he did give you 3 blocks the game before that. So he's averaging 4 blocks against the Rockets. But those are your top 6, or excuse me, those are your 6 plays for round 2. Let's go ahead and screenshot this. Zion, 11 rebounds and assists. I mean, I'm going to leave it as under because at 10.5, he does need 11 to get the over. And if he just finishes with 11, he does get you to push. There might be upside for 12. But if I take the under at 11, then I'm basically asking him to finish under 10.5, which doesn't get me over 10.5. See what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. So if I like the over at 10.5, if I love the over at 10.5, then I like the over of 11 for Zion. But those are the tops, or those are your 6 plays for this round, going over blocks and steals, because you can only go over demons. You don't have the option for unders. Brandon Miller over his points against Orlando. Zion will keep that. Under Durant, over Jalen, and under Jonas. So nice little mix of overs and unders there for your second block of player props. What's up, Steven? Good morning. Ink, what is going on? Travis Ferentino. What's up, Travis? Yeah, Brown is also questionable. The whole damn Celtics team is questionable. We could possibly see Brown sit today. I do know that Porzingis is nursing that ankle or hamstring, calf, whatever it is. So, but this is a pretty important game against the Cavs. Cavs are getting stronger. Cavs are starting to click. They probably want to win this game. Mitchell's out for this game, so if the Celtics feel they can handle business without one of their stars versus a banged up, or versus a Cavs team without Mitchell, then I think they'll sit somebody. Shit, it might be Jason Tatum. We don't know. Not too many teams have that depth. So one person sits out, the team really doesn't skip a beat, but the usage rates all fluctuate based off who's out. So keep your eye out for that update. All right, so those are round 2. All right. All right. Real quick. Earlier I talked about using promo code. So If you happen to be in a state where PrizePicks is removing their services, or if Underdog is removing their services, you might want to look at another site or possibly a sports book if you have access to sports books. When we take a look at odds on props.cash, we mentioned BetMGM, DraftKings, we mentioned all these books. These are places you can actually play your player props, and you don't have to parlay anything. You can just play the prop alone, a standalone. So pay attention to those odds, because those aren't odds, those aren't lines you're always going to get on pick'em sites. So I'm sharing my links with you all to link up. BetMGM, 150 in bonus bets. Bet5, get 150 in bonus bets. DraftKings, FanDuel also offering a pretty favorable bonus bet. If you're in North Carolina, you know you got to sign up. You got to pre-reg before the 11th. Take advantage of all these promos. Take advantage of it now. Lock that in now, so that when the 11th comes, you are locked and loaded. You got funds in your account, and you don't even have to start with your own money. You got the bonus bets to kick off. So all this information is in the video and all my stream descriptions. So take a look at those. If you have any questions about those, just let me know. I personally don't have access to books in Texas. I wish I did, because I would be playing the shit out of these books, but I can't. So, but doesn't mean you can't, and it doesn't mean I can't help you play over there with some free bets, some bonus bets, and some cool promos. So keep your eye out for well, not keep your eye out for that, but yeah, consider that. All right, what else we got? Thought we move into our plays of the day to wind down the show. 2 rounds of player props in, turds of the day. Let's get into some plays of the day. Listen, I'll be 100% transparent with you all. Our plays of the day yesterday did not do well. Those motherfuckers did not prosper yesterday. So I spared us. The results, just know there's a lot of red. Inclusive of a couple of my plays. But we bounced back today. With our plays of the day. Who's going to kick it off? Who has a play of the day they want to share in the chat? And we'll start adding them to our list. In the meantime, I'm going to take a look at this Saddiq Bey over points prop that ATM has thrown in the chat. We'll take a look at that. His points are currently sitting at 13.5. All right. So Saddiq Bey, 13.5 points, minus 128 to the over on this one. That's what it is on That's what it is on PrizePicks. That's what it is also on Underdog. These are all games against New York. Should be like a really muddy matchup here. New York plays at a snail pace. So 3 out of his last 10 games, 3 out of his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. Now over his last 10 against the rest of the league, Saddiq Bey is averaging 17 in those games. He's also averaging 15 over his last 5. I'm pretty sure that the lineup without Trae Young does impact those numbers. In fact, this is pretty much a straight reflection with no Trae Young in there. Now, over his last 10, he's still giving you 15 points in those games. You would think that Trae Young does, without Trae Young, his numbers would go up, but Trae Young does facilitate. We already know that offense runs a lot smoother when Trae Young is running the ship, steering the ship, flying the plane, whatever you want to say. So I think it does have an impact, but not enough to want to take an under on Saddiq Bey's points, as he's still producing without Trae Young in the lineup. If you want to take a look at his projections for today, they are sitting at 17.6. Listen, I know this is like a sticky game for the Knicks. Knicks play slow, but they're missing a lot of key pieces to their lineup. They're still without Mitchell Robinson. They're still without Randall. They're still without Anunoby. And they're letting teams stick around. We just saw that they damn near lost the game to the Detroit Pistons. So keep that in mind, though. I think this could be like a slow game. They play slow, but their defense is not as strong as it once was. So there's still some opportunity for some scoring. They still got some good key pieces there in New York. They just don't have their full, their full lineup healthy. But we do like the fact that we have strong projection for Saddiq Bey. And then if you want to take a look at his odds, unanimous. Nope, actually, FanDuel is the only one. Why do I keep saying unanimous when the shit's not unanimous? FanDuel is the only one giving you favorable odds, where Caesars is giving you even. PointsBet is giving you even. BetMGM and DraftKings has it slightly in favor of the under. So depending on where you're playing this, it matters. If you're playing it on PrizePicks, you got positive game logs, both 5 and 10 games, with and without Trae Young. You're getting favorable projections at 17.63. Yee, what's going on? For real, man. Eddie Guerrero. I met him one time when WrestleMania came to Houston the first time. I went to the WrestleMania. I went to the WWE, whatever they had, like Fan Zone or whatever, like the weekend before, the weekend of. And I stood in this long ass line because the Undertaker's line was wrapped around the George R. Brown. And I stood in this long ass line to meet Eddie Guerrero, who I didn't even like at the time, but I was like, I got to get someone's autograph. I get all the way up to the front of the line. I got my camera ready, and I want to take a picture with this man. And I asked the staff, can you take a picture? And they were like, no, sir, we're not allowed to take pictures. So I'm like, what the fuck? I just took a picture of Eddie Guerrero, and he's just looking at me. It was like the dumbest thing. So I have a picture of Eddie Guerrero just looking all confused and shit. But I grew to like him as a wrestler. He's pretty dope. There's my story about Eddie Guerrero. Yep, El Paso for sure. Texas native. What's up, Paris? Good morning. Ink. Emmanuel quickly over 6.5 assists. I'll tell you what, let's just pull him up on props.cash since we have this already pulled up. I still want to look for quickly on the Knicks. Just a habit. So Emmanuel Quickly's assists are showing at 7. I know they're at 6.5 because I put them on my cheat sheet at 6.5. And on Underdog, they are on Underdog, Emmanuel Quickly's assists are removed. They're gone. They were up there this morning, or at least last night, and they are outie. On PrizePicks, they are 5.5 for the Goblin, 9.5 for the Demon, and that is it. They took his shit off the board. They clean, smooth, wiped that one off the board. So if you're playing quickly, you're gonna have to find it somewhere else that's not PrizePicks or Underdog. At 6.5 assists on BetMGM, you're getting -130 odds. Caesars -189 odds. 166 on DraftKings. And then at 7.5, you're getting heavy juice to the under. So DraftKings, Caesars, BetMGM, if you got access to these books, play it there. If you don't have an account set up with these books, use my promo code and get free funds, get bonus bets, and play the over 6.5 assists for Emmanuel Quickly. It was that good that it got bumped, but it was on the board for a while. It wasn't one of these props where they immediately pulled it off. They let it sit there for almost half a night. Check out KD's assist. Let's check out KD's assist. KD's assist sitting at 4.5. Yee says they were at 4.5, but now 5. I think on PrizePicks still at 4.5 on underdog though. Let me pull up Kevin Durant and see what they are on underdog. If I can spell his name. And wait, why is Kevin Durant is not even pulling up on underdog? Was he on the questionable tag? Did he have a questionable tag? Kevin Durant is not even on underdog right now. But he is on PrizePicks, and he does have a 5 assist mark. So, all right. Over his last 5 games, he's gotten you 5 or more in all 5 games. But there is one game where he did get you exactly 5. So there's one push. So 4 out of the last 5 overs with one push, which still technically doesn't lose you money. It just reduces your payout. He is projected for 4.61. So he's projected for right at that line of 5. And then at 4.5 assists, Kevin Durant is getting you really strong odds to the over on all of these sports books, with Caesars giving you the more even odds at 123 to 111. FanDuel, DraftKings, and BetMGM, PointsBet all have this way up, so minus 130 or higher on those 4 books. So if you can find Durant's assist at 4.5, play it. If you can't, then if you want to take a stab at it at 5, you can. I think the possibility of a push is high, though. Numbers against Denver. No, excuse me. Those are last 10 games. Numbers against Denver. Last game, the only game they played this year, 11 assists. 11 assists. Wasn't that without Devin Booker? Oh, you already got him on underdog twice, Kevin Durant? Yeah, they pulled him off the board. Cutler says Wemby under 5.5 blocks and steals is his play of the day. So yeah, let's start talking about some plays of the day. If you don't have any plays of the day, don't worry about it. Don't force it. But if you just have a play that you like, that you're gonna play, that you feel is in a good spot to go over, throw it in the chat. What I do is I share these in the Discord. You can use that as a reference throughout the day until they get bumped. Shit, I don't even know, out of all the plays that I wrote up and talked about, I don't even know which ones are still on the board at their original line. I try to get the cheat sheet out really early because they bump. We also have Taco Tuesday today, so keep in mind, before you start building out a mass amount of slips, keep in mind Taco Tuesday is in effect today. That will change the way you build slips. 3 tacos, I'm assuming today. 1 NBA, 1 NHL, 1 esport, maybe 2 NBA. I don't know. $25 max on each of those. So some people like to put the full 25 on a 2-pick. Some people like to spread it around. I like to put 20 on a 2-pick and then $5 on a 6-pick or a 5-pick, depending on the value on the board. If the value is really limited and I can't find enough plays to put in a slip, then I'll just run it on a 2-pick or a couple different 2-picks. For the taco, yeah. I mean, if the value's there, yeah, for sure. I mean, if all the information is right, for sure. Yeah, I'm not a fan of if you're trying to play an all NBA slip and you're forcing really bad plays in there just because they're all NBA plays, I'm not a real big fan of that correlation. So I'm more of a fan of whatever value is out there, whether it's esports, MMA, soccer. I'm just trying to build a profitable slip, because you don't get paid more money if they're all NBA or all esports. So pick the best value, and if one of them happens to be an NHL play, if you win, who gives a shit, right? It's still green money. So that's how I look at it. Unless you're getting a lot of value for one sport, then that's way different. But oftentimes You may need to pick from different sports. Diversify your slip, as Rizzo would say. Chris Letang. Hold on. Chris Letang looks good over 2 shots on goal. Play of the day for Inc. Wendell Carter over 3.5 first quarter points. All right, we'll throw that in there. I still have my PrizePicks YouTube short to produce. I'm waiting a little later in the afternoon because I do want to take a look at the fantasy score. And try to get one of those in there for a play if the value's there. So should be posting that YouTube short to the channel around 1 p.m. So keep your eyes out for that. If your notifications are turned on, then you won't miss it. But if your notifications aren't turned on, turn them on so you don't miss anything. Travis says under on Trey Man PRA. Do you like that for your play of the day? Or do you just like that as a line? You're just interested in seeing what the numbers look like. All right, let's do this last one and then let's wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Trey Man has gone under this line. We don't really know. We don't really care about these games because he's as an OKC Thunder. Last 5 games, he's got 3 straight where he's on this steady decline. He's on a steady diet of decline, is Trey Man. Over his last 10 games, now this is heavily influenced by his quick start in Charlotte. He hit the ground running in Charlotte. He was the NBA darling for about a week. We've since seen his numbers come down a lot. So what you're seeing is these 2 stories being told where the front 5 games of this 10-game block are really impressive, and then the last 5 games are on this steady decline. I think what we see is a little bit more of this moving forward. So under Trey Man's 21.5 PRA is in a good spot. The matchup against Orlando is on paper not a good one, but also his projections are not in line for an over. And then when you take a look at his odds across the books, even odds on PointsBet, juice to the under on BetMGM and DraftKings, more juice to the under on Caesars, and more juice to the under on FanDuel. So 4 out of the 5 books are giving you juice to the under, while PointsBet is kind of right in the middle. They don't know what to do with this one. So this one does look like a good candidate for an under. If you wanted to roll with Trey Man's under, you got a lot of information that supports that move. All right, I see Greg. What's up, Greg? DePaul? Good morning. The plug, DePaul. Greg, the plug. Is your last name DePaul by chance? Because if it was, I nailed that shit. If it's not, then disregard. You like Evan Mobley under his 3.5 assists. Lock it, he says. All right, let's put that in there as a play of the day. It says he does want to roll with Trey Man under his PRA for his play of the day. So we'll throw that in there as well. Mobley's only been over that in 1 game. I know, because I've picked the over on his assists a couple of times and his ass didn't even get 2. So I know exactly what that's like. Hess up rhymes with what's up. I remember that. What's up, Hess up? Good morning. All right, so here's what we got for plays of the day so far. We got Wemby under his 5.5 blocks and steals. We got Wendell Carter over 3.5 first quarter points. We got Evan Mobley under 3.5 assists. We got Trey Man under 21 PRA. And Mel likes Gary Harris over his 1.5 3-pointers made. That one looks like a pretty good slip right there. 2 overs and 3 unders. Nice balance there. All right. All right, I'm gonna throw these over in the Discord along with the screenshots that we took for today. And in fact, let me just go ahead and add one more screenshot. Let's add Gary Harris over his 1.5 3-pointers made, and we're gonna add Evan Mobley's assist in here. Under 3.5. Uh-oh. Does that happen to be on Underdog? Okay, so Evan Mobley is at 3.5 assists on Underdog. So I'm going to make note of that. He's not on PrizePicks. We also like Wemby to go under that 4.5, 5.5 blocks and steals. And then the last one was Wendell Carter over first quarter points, which we don't get a lot of first quarter numbers here, but I'm not opposed to him. All right, so we'll screenshot that. We'll throw that in the Discord as well. So we got quite a good mix of, oh, we got another play of the day. Knuckles wants to add Michael Porter Jr. over 8.5 RA. We didn't talk about that, so I like that one. They took it, yeah, Greg, they took it off PrizePicks, but it's still on Underdog. So 3.5 under on Mobley's assist. It was that good they had to remove it from PrizePicks, y'all. All right. We're going to add those to the Discord. We're going to add the screenshots to the Discord as well, so that way you can use that as a reference. If you don't have time to research, don't worry. We did it for you. Feel confident in taking some of those plays that will be shared in the Discord and add them to your slips. But that's going to bring our live stream to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by, hanging out with me for a little while this morning. Truly means a ton. Helps this channel get bigger. Sub up if you haven't done so, or at least consider subbing up. Maybe you need a couple more streams to be sold on, but I got your back. We'll be back tomorrow 9 a.m. with another stream. Hit that like button, share the channel, share a video, share a stream with somebody you know. That's another way you can help this channel grow. And as I always say, I hope all of your player props respect the damn coin. Again, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with another live stream. Wish you all the best of luck. And until that live stream tomorrow, Chavez is out.